We're back. We're back. We're back with a bang. Welcome back to Retrotainment Recast, everybody. I am your
No pun
host.
intended on that bang.
No, there's no pun intended. There's no puns at all. I am the people's judge, normally the people's champion, but I'm back. Here we go. We have a very interesting competition tonight. A very, very, very confident champion and a very, very, very confident challenger. So let me introduce the competitors this evening. Champ, Ted, how are we doing?
Not too bad. I hadn't seen The Rock before we did this. So really good film to get a chance to go and watch.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed it on my radar ever, but I'm
Especially being a Michael Bay movie as well.
yeah, it was a strange one for me to miss, but I'm glad that it's no longer on my missed category of films.
Great movie.
Brilliant. And challenger Greg, how are we?
All good, baby. All good.
Feeling confident?
I am. Although this is Ted's wheelhouse. This is action Irvin coming in.
Action.
No, this isn't the type of action that I'm good with. I'm good with the bigger, like the full on action films, whereas this has more of a story to it.
This is a good story to it, though, isn't it?
Good story.
The concept of this movie was really good. An impenetrable island.
Yeah.
Used as a stronghold.
Yeah, like that's not to say, like things like Predator and stuff don't have a good story to them, but they're more focused. Like they're more focused on the action than they are on the story.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more the
Story
story.
driven. Yeah.
You're interested in this because of the story, not because of the action scenes.
Would you agree that this is the most un-Michael Bay movie that Michael Bay made?
Possibly.
In terms of, apart from the one car chase, there's not a whole lot of like major explosions or anything.
Probably didn't have the budget.
I'm trying to think of his.
Really?
Trying to think of his other ones. He did one of the Transformers, but I don't know.
He done the first two, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember them that well. They weren't very good. So
everyone's in agreement there.
Well, agreement, yeah.
The best one is Bumblebee, and that's like the spin-off to it. So like that doesn't bode well for the Transformers, but I don't remember them being massively flashy.
Anything that you've seen, this is the most un-Michael Bay movie.
Possibly, yeah. I can't remember his other flashy ones, but yeah, it's definitely the less explosions sort of thing, yeah.
So if you haven't got it already, we're talking about The Rock. Not the people's champion, obviously, but The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Very cool film. What was it?
Sean Connery.
2005, was it now?
No, it's 96.
96, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with something else, sorry.
Yeah,
96.
96. What do you think of Cage here?
This is one of his better acting roles.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of Nicolas Cage, but...
Right, I really like Nicolas Cage, but Nicolas Cage in every film can be really, really good, or he can be like, not terrible, but just kind of, you're like, why did you pick Nicolas
Cage?
You're like, why did you pick Nicolas Cage for here? And for me, as good as he does the role here, why did they pick Nicolas Cage here? I don't understand why Nicolas Cage was picked. Like, he is not who you would have thought going into this.
I think it's to do with, I'd say this movie was nearly written for Tom Cruise.
No, because Tom Cruise was too actiony.
He'd gone to Mission Impossible.
No, because Tom Cruise is too actiony, because it's a kind of nerdy character, which isn't Tom Cruise's wheelhouse either.
Tom Cruise definitely isn't all actiony. Look at The Firm, look at anything, apart from even Days of Thunder, apart from Top Gun and Mission Impossible.
No, but when he
didn't
does
really fit him.
When he does action films, he likes to be very heavy in the action. He's not the nerdy, kind of uncertain of himself character. But I just wouldn't have gone with Cage there for that. If I was thinking, like, you wouldn't think Nicolas Cage fits in there, but then you don't think Nicolas Cage fits into half the roles he does, and then he does them well. Do you know what I mean? So he's one of those weird actors.
Any role, even the role about himself when he plays himself, he doesn't fit into that role.
All right. Well, look, let's get cracking, sir. We have 7 positions to fill, of course.
This is one we decided off screen. There was 7. This could have been 14 easily.
Yeah. So we just stuck to what we normally do with the 7. But
As I said, I hadn't seen it. Had I seen this before, I would have vetoed this being a 7 because I would have said there's way too many people here for this to be a 7.
Right. So as always, we ask the guys to put their picks into their chat group that we have, so we know that there's no shenanigans going on, and there never is any. In fairness.
No,
So
there hasn't. There hasn't been yet.
No.
That doesn't mean there never will be.
No, yeah, true.
That's
So put them
mine.
in there.
Sent in there.
There's Ted's. Yeah. And there's Greg's. Okay, we're ready to rock. Rock.
I have one here from Tom as well.
Oh,
All
very
right.
good.
All right, Tom.
Long
Nice
time listener, Tom.
Long time follower of the show. Exactly.
He's a good
Right.
lad, he is.
Well, look, we'll get cracking. So, I'm going to just go with the way I have the list, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to go with Barrow first, who was played by Tony Todd.
Who was a huge name at the time
That's it.
in horror.
Yeah, see, this is the strange thing about it. As big as Tony Todd is, and I was going to say this to you because obviously you boys are huge into the horror, but he was a huge name.
I'd never guessed that.
He's a huge horror name, but was Tony Todd a big name
In Hollywood.
outside of the horror genre?
No,
You-
but that
no.
doesn't make you not a big name. So he came off. He'd done Candyman 1 and 2. He'd done the likes of the Wishmaster and stuff. And he'd worked with a lot of big actors and directors in them. So he was well liked around Hollywood, no matter what happened.
Oh no, he's well liked around Hollywood. But my point is more that he wasn't. He's not a name you're putting on the bill. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're putting up the poster, you're not going, "Oh, Tony Todd's in this film." When you're going, unless it's a horror film, because the people outside of the horror fans probably don't know Tony Todd at this time.
Yeah, maybe. I think he'd done other stuff as well. I'm not too sure of the film category. I only know him from a lot of the horror stuff.
Yeah.
But like to me, I would have put him on surely because you draw the horror fans in.
Yeah, but if you have to pick between the names you have, you know, he's not getting ahead of some of the other people that were there, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'd say Cage, Connery, Harris were the three big ones.
Yeah, so they're the three that you're putting up. If Tony Todd's name is going on, it's going on in a small print. You know, that's what I mean. It's not one of the big names.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you meant it wasn't going on in general. I was like, nah.
Yeah, it's not going to be one of the big names that you're selling your film on. But I kind of kept that in mind here when I was doing it. So I had a couple of names that I was going around with. Jamie Foxx was a backup I had. Idris Elba. I think Jamie Foxx is better to that role than Idris Elba. I had Henry Simmons. That I don't know if you lads would know Henry Simmons all that well. He's just a big guy. I think you've mentioned that you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before, King. So he was in that. I'm trying to think what else he was in. He's not really in a whole lot of the things that you guys would know him from.
Yeah.
But he's just a big dude, like same as Tony Todd. But I went, yeah, you'd know him to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went with Laz Alonso, who you'll know as Mother's Milk from The Boys. A big unit, and you can see him being that kind of, you know, we're doing it, or like, come on, fucking pull the trigger and stuff, you know, like you can see him being that asshole about something, and like being, you know, we stopped being soldiers as soon as we took the money. We're mercenaries.
Yeah.
Even though they'd got no money, but
good choice. Good choice. I like that one. Strong opening.
It's a good shot.
Decent name, but not a huge name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of had a thought about it, and of course the usual names pop up. Elba, mentioned already. Fox. To an extent, you could say Denzel, but he'd be too old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
John David Washington was the other one. When I couldn't use Denzel, who actually plays quite a similar character in Ballers, but neither of you have seen that.
No.
So I went with a name that's coming up big now in terms of Marvel. He has just been signed as Blade. I went with Mahershala Ali. Nah, I'm not even saying
Mahershala Ali, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
Not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Not a bad
Um,
choice.
I do
I
know he
have-
is going to be the next, like the plan is for him to be the next Blade. I don't know if it's been finished filming yet. So
No,
I
it has
know,
no.
yeah, so I know the
It got
plan
changed.
is,
It got changed from a 10-part show to 3 movies, as far as I know.
yeah, so I don't like, presuming it's going to come out. He's the new Blade. I know him from bit pieces elsewhere, but I don't really know him as an actor outside of that. He's had a few small part roles and things I've seen, but nothing memorable.
Yeah. So.
Who
Yeah.
did Tom go with?
Touchdown Tom has Laz Alonso as well.
Right. Okay. Very good. So I just had Anthony Mackie down there.
No.
See,
You know.
when you said you were going Marvel, Greg, I thought somebody else.
Who
They-
did you think?
I thought Greg was going to go Mike Coulter,
Oh yeah.
who
I think
also
he
would have
would be-
been a decent shout.
I didn't even think of him, to be honest. I knew roughly where I wanted to go with that list.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of him either, but when you said, oh, he's a name coming up in Marvel, I was like, oh, he's gone from Mike Coulter, because we've used Mike Coulter a couple of times before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, out of those two, I do think that Laz Alonso is
It's a better pick. Yeah.
Yeah,
closer to not that they have to be, but closer to Tony Todd, I think. So we'll go with that one. So that's 1-0 to the champ. Okay.
a good start for me.
Good start. That was a good both, but they were both good picks though. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
once Blade comes out, it could be that like that. If we look back at this after Blade comes out, that
Yeah.
it could be a very different outcome. But without Blade, it's hard to judge that man's
they're-
acting.
they're big shoes to fill as well. I mean,
They
Wes
are,
Snipes,
yeah.
that was
They
it's
are
like
impossible shoes to fill.
oh, I mean, I think it's the kind of character I don't see anyone else being able to do half as good as Snipes did, but
No.
I'm willing to give it a chance,
He
Yeah.
embodied Blade, though, really, didn't he?
He did. He really did. It's like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Like you don't see anyone else ever trying to do that. You know what I mean? But anyway, onward we move. Let's go with Womack. How does that sound? Like sound good?
Yeah. This one's a
Right.
good one.
Go for it. Womack.
So, I had one for quite a while. I had an old favorite of mine in Will Patton here.
Mm-hmm.
But I just never, for the first time when I've used them, I never quite settled on it until I watched something the other day. And this person jumped out. I went with John Malkovich here, who was
Mhm.
Cyrus the Virus in Con Air.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
and
decent.
Every other movie ever.
Yeah.
Champ.
I kind of batted around a few people for this. One person I had was Robert Downey Jr. because the guy's just a
No.
chameleon. He can do anything. But same as Greg was with Patton, I wasn't settling into him. I was trying to think of people we haven't used before. I thought of Clark Gregg, who is from Marvel. He is the agent that they all love.
Coulson.
Yeah, Coulson. He used to but again, no. So I just went with someone that's been reliable for us in the past, in Michael Shannon. Again, another chameleon there that can stick in, be the bad guy when you need him to be, because that's what Womack is, the bad guy in this, for all intents and purposes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know they're trying to take down General Hummel, but General Hummel's still a good guy. Womack is the asshole the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't see Shannon being the head of the FBI, and the fact that he was involved in locking, he locked up Mason 35 years ago, and that would mean he was in his 20s when he done that.
Yeah. Now that being said, the original actor was 50, and Shannon's 48.
But
So-
he doesn't look 50.
Well,
He looks-
Shannon does look old.
He does. He looks his
do-
age. Yeah.
He does look old.
I couldn't see Shannon being a desk pencil pusher either.
I don't know, if he's getting on in his career, maybe that's what he is. That's where the big bucks are, in the FBI.
Where
Mhm.
are we? Does Tom have a pick for this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tom's doesn't have a name for this one, I'm afraid, lads.
See,
Okay.
I always took this one as he
Oh, sorry, he
locked
does.
up
He does.
Mason when Mason, like he locked up Mason. Well, he was like a rookie. That's why it's his big thing. That's what I always took this as.
He does have a name. Sorry, it's there. He has Dylan Barker here.
Dylan
I'm not sure
Barker.
who that is.
Okay.
Don't know that I know
Is
Dylan
it
Barker.
Barker or Baker?
He has.
If it's Baker, he's
Oh, it is
out.
Baker. Sorry, it is Baker. Yeah.
He's in that Amazon series Hunters.
He's in
Might
planes, trains, and automobiles and stuff from
Yeah.
years ago as
And
well.
He was the guy in Trick or Treat as well. I
Yeah.
know who he is.
Okay. I know who Dylan Baker is. I was thinking I don't know Dylan Barker.
Sorry,
but-
I misread that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I just
Right.
I don't see Shannon being a 33-year vet, to be honest.
Right,
yeah.
well, look, again, I think they're both good actors.
Two fantastic actors.
Fantastic actors, and as you say, like I mean, if you want a chameleon, there's no one better than Malkovich as a chameleon, really, when you think about it. I think I'm gonna level it up here. I'm gonna go with Malkovich.
Yeah, I think I try to stick close to the age because the way when I was watching the film, I got the impression that Womack was kind of the young up and comer when Mason was caught, and Mason's meant to be, in his 60s. So I was like, well, I can't have him be much like he's meant to be the young up and comer, and Mason's been locked up for 30 years, which means he caught Mason when Mason was around 30s. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who would you have gone with if I went with Patton?
Patton who?
Will Patton.
Will Patton.
Would you have stayed the same?
I don't know. I probably would have went the other way.
Will Patton's too much of a nice guy.
Yeah.
Will Patton's a little snake though. In
He
so
is
many of his
Yeah.
films, he plays the the good guy, but you're also like, is he going to be the snake and rat the boys out all the time? You're never certain. You're never certain with him.
Right.
So that's 1-1.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Very good. So let's rock it up to Fry. How does Fry sound, lads?
Yeah.
Be about right.
Probably about right. Again, another young. This is a young guy coming in, and he's just kind of an asshole, the whole way through it. So I was kind of thinking that I had Will Poulter there, but I think Will Poulter is maybe too big a name at the moment.
He's not as arrogant looking either, is he?
Yeah, that was kind of it. I say Will Poulter can play that kind of innocent character as well, which this just doesn't fit. Richard Madden was another one who I think can play that. But I settled on someone who anything I've ever seen him in has a punchable, arrogant face. Dave Franco.
Okay.
Dave Franco not in the Bad Boy books, as well as his brother.
Well, was he not in? Oh, sorry. Wait, is Dave Franco the older one or the younger one?
The
James
younger
is
one.
the older one.
Which one's?
James Franco's the older one, isn't he?
Yeah, James is the older one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dave Franco's not.
Yeah, Dave Franco's the one that was in Day Shift, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't be in
Did he
that
not
bad.
get himself put in the bad books?
I don't think so. Sure, that was only a couple of months ago.
Yeah. I thought I could have sworn I read somewhere. I think
he was in the bad. I think he was in the bad books like a couple of years ago, but he seems to have gotten out with them since then. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, his movie, The Room. Is it The Room or The Thing? It's considered the worst movie of all times, being remade already.
Oh, that's James Franco, isn't it?
Was it James Franco's one?
Yeah.
I thought it was his.
Yeah.
Or he's in it then.
He's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Dave Franco.
Yeah, he's got a very punchable, arrogant face, doesn't he?
He does.
He does. I had a couple here. Tom Felton didn't sound about right. He has a very punchable face, though.
Yeah, he's not intimidating enough in that sense. He's intimidating because his family had power and stuff when he was in that. You know what I mean?
He does look like you want to punch him in the face.
I'd love to punch him.
Yeah, but he's not intimidating in that sense because of that. You know what I mean?
I went with Laheed Stanfield here. From Knives Out and Get Out, Knives Out and Get Out and stuff. I think he's just an arrogant cunt in everything I've seen him in.
Is it Lakeith Stanfield?
Lakeith, yeah. Lakeith Stanfield. I can't even remember Get Out and stuff. It's been so long
I don't
since I
want
watched
to
them.
remember it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a shy piece of shit movie.
I did like Knives Out though.
Piece of shit director.
We know you hate him. We know.
The world
Uh.
doesn't know.
Who did Tom go with?
Sorry, yeah. Tom had Brendan Fletcher
Hey.
from Violet Night.
All right. Who was he in that? Oh, yeah, what's that on the plane going over to New York, by the way?
So good, isn't it?
Yeah. So who
He's
was
this
he in
guy.
that?
He's like the brother, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I don't see that pick really, but
No,
he doesn't
but-
have that kind of arrogance.
I
The
think he's
main
too.
guy might have been. The main
I-
guy might have been a good show.
I think he's maybe a little bit too old to be, because this like Fry is meant to be
He's
like
very
a
young.
the young up and coming recruit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, fellas. I'm not even going to bother talking. I didn't have a pick for that one, so I'm gonna go with Dave Franco because he has a very punchable face.
He does. He's such an arrogant looking
Yeah.
man, and it's funny because a lot of people do dislike him, but I like most things I've seen him in. I actually do like him. I thought he was quite good in Day Shift, and he wasn't arrogant or anything in Day Shift. He was real cowardly and
He
stuff
was
in
the
Day Shift,
complete opposite. Yeah.
and he did
He's
it
a-
really fucking well.
He's a good actor. Yeah, he's a good actor. I feel.
Right.
All right, so 2-1 to the champ. As I'm sure the champ had expected.
Probably
Well, I
has
don't
to
know.
be
So
happy.
I'm always weary when I use one of the Francos.
Yeah, it could be
You
hit
can
or
only
miss.
use one of them.
Yeah,
There is only one of them. There's only
No.
ever one. Right. Do we go now with
Has to be Paxton here,
Paxton.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's go with Paxton then.
and then it has to be Hummel. And
Yeah.
then- do you go Connery last here?
Connery last. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's
okay.
he's the hero.
He's the main man.
Yeah.
Right, so we'll go with Paxton. Let's go.
Right. I struggled. I batted around a couple here, and I settled on someone that's done kind of these kind of movies before. I went with Daniel Craig
Mm.
here.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah. I batted a few names there, and I had thought Daniel Craig here, but I think Daniel Craig is, well, based on the way I'd done my list, Daniel Craig was too old because he's older than Michael Shannon.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So to have him be there and have Michael Shannon be his superior that got ahead of him years ago, I was like, no, he just doesn't fit in there for me. So I batted a few other names around. Sam Rockwell was one. Again, a little bit older, but I think Sam Rockwell looks younger, whereas Daniel Craig doesn't look much younger than he is. One
See,
that
mine fit in because of I had Malkovich.
yeah, you had an older person. Yeah, I still think Daniel Craig has that. Like, this guy's still meant to be a bit of a, a bit young enough to not know anything about Mason as well. So he wasn't on the force, is kind of the way I was looking at it. I had a couple of other backup. Owen Wilson was another backup
Good shout, that.
who I think could do that, but I just don't know if he'd take that role, and I wasn't
Wow.
sure how people would feel about him. And he
Wow.
doesn't say
wow.
wow. He doesn't say wow in it at all, so you don't get the wow.
Oh wow, that was very good, Ted.
Yeah, no, I've done that impression way more times than anybody needs to know. So I went with somebody that we have used before, who's not a big name either, or not a huge name anyway. I went with John Krasinski, who
Okay.
I think would be, willing to lay it all on the line the way he does for Goodspeed at the end when he's like, "Oh, he got away. Oh, he got away, did he? Yeah. Okay." I think Krasinski would have that, yes, I want this to work out, but I'm also not going to be a complete fucking dick about it the way the boss is, the way Womack is,
Mm.
I just, again, there's another one I think just would be too young to be it because he knew about Mason being locked up for 30 years.
No, he didn't. He only knew when they told him.
No, he
'Cause
did because when they're in the meeting, the two of them are talking outside, and he says it to me. He says there is one. He's like, I'm not doing that. He says it to Womack. He's like, I'm not doing it.
Um,
He knows what Mason done, and he knows he's in prison for it, and he's got now.
Yeah, but that's because he's risen up the ranks a bit, you know. Like, and it's not like
Well, he's
John
obviously a
Krasinski's not a child. He's 40. He's in his mid 40s.
41.
Like,
41, isn't he?
No, I know, yeah. But I would have had him closer to Womack's age than thing. And I know your Womack was a bit younger.
yeah. Again, I'm kind of going off the ages they were in the film. Like Paxton was 41 in the film,
Yeah,
so he was still meant to be relatively young. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Exactly. Who did Tom go with?
Tom went with Holt McCallany, who was in Mindhunter. I don't know, I didn't see it.
Oh, was he the main guy?
No idea.
Mindhunter, was it?
Yeah, Mindhunter, yeah.
Oh, I do know who it is. Yeah, Mindhunter's actually quite good.
Mindhunter's the Silence of the Lambs thing, is it?
No, it was a Netflix series where they kind of went around where they were. It was like how they were learning to study serial killers.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's good. He's
So
good.
it got really big, really quick, and then it just kind of stopped. It is very good though, to be fair to it. I am a bit annoyed that it did stop.
They
I would've liked
cancelled it, yes, and they've been trying to get a third season.
Yeah, and it was really
that's
good.
The
Like it was.
petition's all right, yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Brilliant.
good. Like it's really
Brilliant
worth watching. Like.
I went with Chris Evans. I think he could possibly do that. You know,
Yeah.
and he's in and around that same kind of age group.
I was thinking Chris Evans, but then maybe too big a name was my issue here because this is kind of like the side character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Krasinski in that one. I do like Krasinski in that role there.
Yeah, I think he fits into it nicely.
Yeah, me too. So that's 3-1 to the champ.
One more.
Barring a draw.
Oh.
No, well, a draw would still give it
Champ.
because there's only three.
Because it'll just end as a.
Yeah, it ends as a draw. I'd go through as champion's advantage. So I just need one. Just one. That never means that it's done. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with what we perceived as the bad guy, Homo.
Yeah, a very interesting character. This, isn't it? Like Ed Harris plays this fantastically. Like at no point do you think he is the bad guy. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even when he takes the hostages and all, like he makes sure that he goes over to the school children and he's like, you need to tell your teacher, get you off this island. Like at no point did I think he was the bad guy. When I like
even when he has the lads in the shower, he's like, just tell them we're at a higher level, just don't do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, but the first, like, so obviously this was the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, it's going to be from his side, like he's the good guy and the government are the bad guys. Do you know what I mean? But then it doesn't go that way because then he's the perceived bad guy, and even though the government are in the end the bad guys, the people that the government send in aren't the bad guys either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he plays it really, really well. So I had kind of two people here. One was Christian Bale, who I think could do that role quite well. Just a fantastic actor. Another one I was thinking was less used, but Ben Affleck, who I think has become a very, very good actor. I think he's very underrated because he was kind of a bit of a comedy actor during the late 90s, mid 2000s and stuff. I think he became a bit of a comedy actor, so people sleep on him a bit. But I went with somebody else who used to be a big favorite on this show, but I don't think has been used in a while, with Timothy Oliphant.
Ooh.
Who I think could fit in there quite well. He's a bit of a chameleon as well. And he could be the good guy while also being the bad guy, or the perceived good guy as the perceived bad guy.
Okay. Yeah.
I do like Timothy Oliphant. It's good.
Yeah.
I like him, but yeah.
I just don't think I would have had him there. But
I don't think he fits anywhere else.
I'd have more had him as the backup in Baxter.
For Paxton.
No, for Baxter. I know.
Yeah, but we're not.
Baxter.
Yeah, we're not doing Baxter, so I didn't need to use him there. Do you know what I mean?
This is where I had someone that was mentioned for. This is where I put Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Ed Harris is good, but he's an arsehole.
Mhm.
And Michael Shannon is a grade A arsehole
Mm-hmm.
in everything.
That's true.
Yeah,
That is
Timothy
true.
Oliphant can be an asshole as well, though. Let's not
He's too,
pretend.
do you know what about Oliphant? He has too much of a big grin. If you know what I mean, like he's too kind of smiley or something. Even when he's trying to be nasty, I don't know. Just I mean, if you're putting it up against those two there,
But he's
you
not
know.
meant to. He's not meant to be nasty. That's the point. That he's
Mm.
never. He is never nasty. He's always a nice guy the whole way through, just trying to bluff his way into, you know, getting things for people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who did Tommy have?
Fassbender.
Oh, you had Fassbender.
Point Tom.
So let me see. Look, I like Oliphant. I do. I just don't believe him in that role. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go.
that's-
I'm gonna go with Shannon on that one.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Big Mike comes up trumps again.
I had Christian Bale there until kind of.
If you had picked Christian
couple of
Bale, I
hours
would have
ago.
went. I would have went with Christian Bale.
Yeah, I had him there up until kind of a couple of hours ago, and then I was just looking at something else, and I was like, Timothy Oliphant would be good there as the good, but also the bad guy.
I can see where you're coming from. I actually can see where you're coming from, but I just think Shannon's too good of a pick for that one. That particular one.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, yeah. Okay, so 3-2. Ooh, it's getting exciting now.
If I pick this one off, Ted's gonna be sweating.
Well, I will, because my John Mason is a very questionable one.
Oh. Well, look, we'll go with Goodspeed now, who was, of course, Ridiculous Cage.
Ridiculous Nick.
Who was a champ?
Greg.
No,
Sorry, Greg.
it's me. I don't know what, I struggled with this one. Evans came to mind. I just couldn't settle on that. Sebastian Stan was the easy one. Didn't want to do that. I went with Adam Driver here. He can play that nerdy. What's he call himself? Chemical expert, chemical something.
Mm.
And like he doesn't do much physically imposing stuff. Now Driver can do it. We know he can do it. We've seen him do it. But he looks skinny and awkward as Cage does in this.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, as the same as you, I was kind of looking at now. I think Evans and Sebastian Stan are terrible for this role. They're way too bulky, way too,
I think it's the hair.
Possibly, like, acting wise, I do believe that they're both sufficiently good enough actors to be able to play the kind of nerdy like scientist thing, but they're too imposing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
I think
wouldn't
so.
buy that they weren't able to look after themselves the way Cage was. Like, Cage, I fully believed this man cannot look after himself in any way, because this is kind of before he bulked up a bit for other roles that he needed to be. Yeah, but well, like Ghost Rider and then Con Air and stuff, where he's a bit bulkier in Con Air. Like,
He's big in Con Air.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not. That's not what he is here. So, I was kind of thinking, had Nicholas Hoult there before, but I don't like him for that particular role. Justin Long, but Justin Long's a bit too old for that role now.
Justin Long. He's just not going to be okay, lads.
It's
not a horror film, actually.
Yeah, he does fit that role as the nerdy kind of awkward guy. But he's like in his mid-40s, so just a little bit too old for it now. Jesse Eisenberg was another one I had. But I went with another favorite that we have in Jack Quaid. I think Jack Quaid is very good at playing the kind of, I'm going to get involved and I am going to try and save everyone, but I'm also, I know I'm incapable of it, but I'm still going to try, and I'm really nervous about it. Basically, that's his whole character in The Boys. Always trying to be the good guy and trying to be a bit of a hero, but just
until
not.
He injects himself with Compound V.
Yeah, but even when he does that, he's still incapable of like being confident in himself. He's still like, oh, I don't know if I'm able to do this, And I want to keep him kind of young, because Goodspeed's kind of meant to be quite young and like a bit young and naive in this as well. Do you know what I mean?
Cool. Tom did go with who?
Miles Teller.
Okay.
Maybe a bit too.
He had backups of Efron and Garfield. Garfield had been closer, I would have thought.
Garfield too old, but would have been closer. Efron way too big, way too able to look after himself.
Yeah.
I seen that man in Baywatch. He is jacked. He's huge now for Kerry Von
Efron?
Erich.
Yeah, he's bulked out massively for the Von Erichs.
He's
So
something like 18 stone now.
Jesus. It's a big boy.
Yeah,
Big unit.
Funny enough, I went with Jesse Eisenberg.
yeah, I was thinking him, but
Really?
I did, yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg as the star of an action film? No, lads, I don't see that.
no,
Sorry.
He
I
didn't pick him. He didn't pick
I
him.
didn't pick him. I
No,
went.
no,
his
I know,
backup.
I know. But I'm saying in general, I don't see it. You would never even across.
But
my mind.
technically, he's not the star. Sean Connery is.
But technically, Nicolas Cage was the big name on the board.
No, never.
No, I think
Not over Sean Connery.
I think Connery was the big
We
name
had
on the
this-
board. They wanted Cage to be, but let's not pretend that Nick Cage's name was bigger than Connery's at this time.
Do you know what actually really annoys me about the poster to this?
Well,
They have Connery's in the middle, right? And
yeah,
Harris and Cage are at the side. And they don't put the right names over the right people.
yeah, it is a strange one.
It's Connery and then the big Nicolas Cage in the middle and then
Ed Harris, yeah.
Harris. And you're like, why not just put it over the right people? Like
That
aesthetics.
did annoy me when I seen the thing for it. All right.
Okay.
I think if you're going as well with a Michael Bay movie, the name kind of holds a bit more, and Adam Driver has a bigger name than Jack Quaid does.
I think Jack Quaid's name is getting
Growing.
significantly.
It's
It's
getting-
getting significantly
But
bigger now. And Driver,
Not- it's
Driver,
not
I think is just a
Driver.
little bit older. Like Driver's nearly 40 now.
Look, I think Quaid is a great actor.
Yeah.
Adam Driver is a great actor as well. And both of them, yeah, you could believe both of them wouldn't be able to look after themselves. You know?
Yeah, I like as I said, I wanted to stay young, so that's why
Yeah,
Driver
and
didn't come
that's-
to me, and it's why I
that's-
went away from Eisenberg because again, he's nearly 40.
Well, that's a fair point.
He's been around forever, that cunt.
Yeah, he lost his hair, grew it back again, and everything like so.
That was all that kryptonite.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna make it very interesting. I'm gonna go with Adam Driver.
Too old.
Okay.
I don't, but he's too old for that role.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Again, we're it's technically in our universe. We're casting this for the first time, so
Yeah, but
You
it's
know.
still meant to be a young, it's still meant to be a young scientist.
yeah. Well, I can see, as I say,
I don't know if maybe you consider 40 young, King, but I don't think
I
me
do.
and Greg,
Shut up,
me and,
I
me
do.
and Greg aren't considering 40 young.
don't be ageist, you. Shut up.
It's not ageist, it's just not young.
Right,
Okay.
here we go.
Right. It's a one-shot shootout. And we're going with Mason, who of course was played by Sean Connery.
Yeah,
Welcome
so
to the Rock.
I had a few backups here. One I think would do it very, very well, but does not have the name value in Jerome Flynn. Right? Jerome Flynn plays that character fantastically, but Jerome Flynn is not the name value that Sean Connery was. He is just not. Another one I actually had this is where I had Daniel Craig as a backup. I know he's a little bit younger than Connery was here, but Daniel Craig looks a bit old.
This is where Tom had him as a backup.
Yeah, I think this is where I would have had him as backup. Another backup was Sean Pertwee. Would do it very well, but as much as I love him, name value, not up there with Connery. So I went with someone who does have a big name. We haven't got to use too many times because he won't take certain roles anymore. But even though they claim he dies, we all know he didn't. Sean Bean. I think Sean Bean can be your big badass that you'd believe like was capable of escaping from things, never backs down from a fight.
Hey, do you think though, right, with the stigma that there is about his acting roles now, that people wouldn't be like think, he's just gonna fucking die, like, you know?
Yeah, but that's the
No,
point.
like he's legitimately come out and said he will not take it. Doesn't matter how much money you offer him.
Yeah, but the whole point is that you're meant to believe that somebody's going to die here, and you're not going to believe that Goodspeed's going to die. So you're meant to believe that somebody's going to die, which fits perfectly to Sean Bean of, well, he's going to bloody die in it, isn't he? And that's what you're expecting from Mason. Mason's going to die.
He hit that double bluff quite well as well when they dropped the bomb, the laser bomb on it, and Goodspeed gets sent into the water.
Yeah, you're 100% expecting that Mason's dying here. And then he doesn't. And that's why I was like, Sean Bean works there very well. I know he's come out and said he won't die, but you know, you still believe you'd still be, oh shit, that's him done, you know? And then he doesn't, and you're like, oh, and like as a little like scrappy little fighter, yeah, Sean Bean fits into that perfectly. Like
the way you've explained that to me, that's a great show.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Greg, go for it.
Right. Here we go. Couple of names easily batted around. One easy pick would have been Liam Neeson. Liam Cunningham was another one that kind of rough and tumble look. Not right. Then I stumbled on it, right? So hear me out. Okay. Sean Connery was James Bond in Dr. No, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Dr. No, James Bond steals the microfilm and escapes from Alcatraz, right?
Yeah.
Right.
In Dr. No, he's done both. The theory that Mason is James Bond because he's been excommunicated by the MI5, right? So obviously it's a fan theory, but he's been excommunicated. That's why Mason doesn't exist in any of the systems.
Yeah,
because he is James Bond,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went with Pierce Brosnan here. He has the James Bond connection, right? And the one thing then I was thinking in my mind, I was like, how do I make this work? Because of the line where he punched me because my dad was Irish, right? Because he goes to work for the English Special Forces.
Yeah.
So I've gone with the James Bond connection.
I think if you were going James Bond connection, Daniel Craig was your James Bond connection.
No, I don't think so.
I do, actually.
Pierce Brosnan is, as much as he was James Bond, he's like the goody James Bond. That's the way I always remember him.
Pierce Brosnan was the exact same James Bond that Sean Connery was.
No,
exactly.
It's more like Roger Moore, I think.
I don't think so. Now, then again, I don't watch a whole lot of James Bonds,
Ah.
but everything fits in because the microfilm is there. He's escaped from Alcatraz, so it's James Bond. I'm not picking Timothy Dalton, and I don't think George Lazenby's still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I Pierce Brosnan is just too much of a nicey nice character.
And I think when he comes out of the prison, first when you see him, when he's not in any way, shape, or form Sean Connery, kind of fits Pierce Brosnan on his latest role.
Which has been
the...
Oh, right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? He has that look. You put the beard on him, and then put him in shape. Yeah, no, perfect.
I don't like that he's Irish either. I don't like the "my dad was Irish" line being said to him because Pierce Brosnan's Irish, because he has a very.
But he's gone to work for the British Special Agency, so it's as easy to just go.
The British Special Agency were never going to have an Irishman working for them. Not a fucking hope. They wouldn't even let them
they
own their land.
Hired him for James Bond, so it's not And
that's years later. That's not back in those days.
This was I don't know. I think it works perfectly.
This is set in around 96, and he got captured 30 years ago.
But see, that's also the thing. They sent people out. They sent him out to do something and then excommunicate him. So it's as easy to say he's not part of our thing if he's not an Englishman.
No, well, that's the way all those secret government agencies are. If you're caught, you're not part of the.
Yeah, but if you're caught and you're English, they're automatically going to take you you're English.
Yeah, but
if you're caught and you're Irish, they're less likely to believe that you're English.
No, but they don't believe that he wasn't part of it. They fully believe he was an English spy, but the English just denied it because that's what they would have done no matter what. The Americans would do the exact same, even now.
Well, yeah, I know that's what happened. But it's as easy to say, oh, he has absolutely nothing to do with ours because he's not from here.
Yeah, but they would have done that anyway. It wouldn't have mattered where he was from.
Whether the Americans believed it or not is a different story.
Yeah, but they were going to do that if he was English or not. Him being Irish doesn't matter. And I do think Pierce Brosnan's too nicey nice to be this rough and tumble kind of dick as well. Like Mason is a bit of a dick.
You definitely would have said he would have been too nice before he was James Bond, that he was rough and tumble.
I don't think he's rough and tumble. I never felt he was rough and tumble in James Bond.
He actually is in the James Bond with Sean Bean in Goldeneye.
Yeah, I don't think he's rough and tumble in James Bond either.
Right, well, who did Tom pick?
Tom had Pierce Brosnan.
All right, okay.
He had Daniel Craig as the backup here.
Yeah, Daniel Craig's a closer Bond type to this than Pierce Brosnan.
I had Kevin Costner, who could possibly have done it. You know, you've seen him in all sorts of films. In fairness,
yeah,
you know, so
he's in one of my favorite films in The Guardian.
All right, so you want to say Tin Cup?
Tin Cup was good.
I know. Right, okay. What I will say to you is I liked both arguments. That was a great closing argument for the final position, I have to say. But I have to say that from all the shows I've done and the shows I've watched, the best argument I've ever heard was Tonight by Ted for that particular casting. I'm gonna go with Ted in that one.
Yes, I love that Sean Bean gets in.
The way like that was brilliant. And there's nothing wrong with your theory either, Greg. But the way the fan theory, whatever. But I like the fact that, you know, he that actually turned my mind to go with Sean Bean, because I was thinking like that. I was thinking Sean Bean, he's always gonna fucking die and stuff like.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what you wanted.
Yeah. So yeah, the champ wins that one 4-3. Congratulations, and that was a good fight. That was a good one actually, lads.
Yes, that Sean Bean one I knew was a bit of a risk, and I knew I was going to have to get that argument in to make sure that people understood why I was going with Sean Bean.
That's a brilliant argument, I have to say, man.
I also don't think neither of the two of them would be casting it anyway. But
no, but we have to pick one of them. So,
Sean Bean doesn't hold a name value really anymore either.
No, but I do like, again, if you were going under the premise of what Brosnan, I don't believe Brosnan in anything. That's just my opinion now. You know, I was never a huge fan of Brosnan, never.
I mean, I've seen him play Jerry Adams.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he plays him very well, but I don't want to see him playing Jerry Adams. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see him. I don't want to see a film about fucking Jerry Adams, if you know what I mean. So. Thankfully,
sort him out.
Yeah, he's listening to us now. Everyone's listening to us. Like, but anyway, look, good game. Greg, you're gonna pick next week's slaughter for. Oh God, go on, go for goodness knows what we're getting picked these days.
Let me see. What can I give you?
Do Predator again. Predator again.
Oh yeah, do Predator again, because I'll hand the slaps out in Predator.
Ooh.
I did it the last time. I'd do it again. I think I beat you in Predator, didn't I, King?
You did, and I was very annoyed at that.
Did you beat him in Predator?
He did.
Yeah, I won Predator. That's why I hand the slaps out in these action films, because King thought he had it.
Predator, not Sherlock.
No, he won it. It was Action Irving won that one. I remember.
Yeah, but was it not you and Sherlock?
I can't remember. Whoever it was, I gave the slaps to.
I think I thought it was me.
King wasn't in the picture at that stage.
Possibly not. Whoever it was one of the Carls that I gave the slaps to.
Actually, you're right. It was Sherlock. Yeah. When I was going along with my picks when I was watching the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I wouldn't have won that.
No.
What can I give you cunts to do now?
Oh.
I have it.
Go on.
Name was mentioned this evening. It's a film I've been meaning to rewatch for a while. The name Owen Wilson comes to mind.
Right, well, it's not Anaconda, because we've done Anaconda.
Zoolander.
We've done Armageddon. No, not Zoolander.
We've done Armageddon.
It is a comedy.
All right, well, if it's not Zoolander and it's a comedy, it's got to be one thing, doesn't it? Is there any other big comedies with him?
Starsky and Hutch. Starsky and Hutch.
It better not be bloody Starsky and Hutch.
He was in Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, better not be that.
This one doesn't have Ben Stiller in it. This one has Vince Vaughn, Isla Fisher, Rachel McAdams,
Yeah.
Christopher Walken.
Oh.
And you know what we're going to say, lads? We're going to jump and shout because we're going Wedding Crashers.
Oh.
Wow.
He doesn't say wow, Winnie.
I know he doesn't, but he should have.
I don't
It's
think he says wow in a lot of things.
No, he doesn't. It happened in like 3 or 4 films in a row, and then everyone just was like, "Yeah, he says it in
Wow.
everything." Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah, I think I've been meaning to watch it for a while, lads, and
I do like Wedding Crashers.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
All right. Well, you go off and watch that. We'll go off and watch it. And Ted can sign us out for this week. How about that?
Yeah, as always, don't forget to like, share, follow all that good stuff on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of that, and don't forget to like, share, and follow the boys over on the slab. Some big guests over the last few weeks. Some more big guests to come, and there's been a few decent reviews out there now the last while as well. One of my favorite franchises came out. The latest installment came out a few weeks ago, and we did a little deep dive on that. So, you know,
Oh, it was spicy.
yeah, it was a very, very good episode. So check all of that stuff out. And until next week, look.